Thank you everybody for joining us today for this yummy, luxurious, you can do it in bed yoga practice. We're going to start today just moving a little bit of energy. I was introduced to Donna Eden's videos, and I'll link her website down below in the description if you're interested in learning more about energy medicine and about how she has healed herself with energy medicine. So I'll just move you through a few different tapping areas, and you can take like your 3 middle fingers or your index finger and middle finger, and the first place you want to tap is right here on the cheekbones. Just kind of gently tapping. Doesn't really matter how many times that you tap there, maybe 10, 12, 20 even if you want. And then you move down to just underneath the collarbones, right underneath where they end, and tap right there. And we're just moving energy. We're tapping along meridians and lymphatic vessels, blood vessels. And the next place you want to tap is the thymus gland. And you can tap it kind of like King Kong, or you could just use one hand or both hands or alternate hands, whatever feels good to you. And then the next place you want to do is take your fingertips together, like you're making little animal heads, and tap right on the rib cage, just underneath the bra line. And just move everything in there. This is supposed to be really good for digestion, whether it's food or ideas or information you're trying to digest, or moving toxins throughout the body. And then you just kind of shake it off. And then the next thing we want to do is we want to crisscross the body to move the energy back and forth from side to side so that we're not stuck in any one side of the body. The right brain is the creative brain. The left brain is the thinking, analytical brain. We want to balance that out. So we're going to take our right hand to our left shoulder, and we're just going to press into the muscle right there and then cross across the body all the way down to the hip. And then take the left hand on the right shoulder and cross down to the hip. And we'll just alternate from side to side a couple of times, or 3 or 4. Again, it doesn't really matter, just until it feels good to you. And then we're just going to kind of walk in place, doing the same thing. And you'll lift the opposite arm as you lift the opposite leg. And you can just do it really low down here, or you can tap your knee up here, or you can take your whole leg out if you want to do that, and just make it fun. And then when you're done doing that, we're going to reach our arms all the way up, bring our thumbs to our third eye and our fingertips together, and just kind of press on that third eye a little bit. And then we're going to take the fingertips to the center of the forehead, and with just a little pressure, we'll drag the fingertips across the forehead and down to the temples. And you can do this as many times as feels good to you. It might help you control your emotions a little bit so you don't overreact, or maybe help with tension headaches. And then we'll bring the hands back to the heart, and we'll do a couple side to side stretching, kind of like Egyptian hands. We're going to reach up with the right hand and down with the left. And again, it doesn't matter what side you start on, because we're going to alternate. So we're going to take a big inhale and draw the left arm down and the right arm up, just like an Egyptian, if you can see my hands like that. So we'll reach up, look up, take a big inhale, and then release the hands back to prayer hands as you exhale. And then inhale and do the opposite side. Inhale, look up, maybe hold your breath for a moment if that feels good, and then exhale back to center. And then one more time each side, stretching long, looking up. Exhale back to center. One more time on the opposite side. Big inhale here. And then reach the other hand up to meet. And we're gonna forward fold, just bending the knees. I'm just turning so you can see me. And just kind of hanging. And we'll just take 2 big breaths in. And you might be able to see that after each breath, you're a little closer to the earth. And just like a rag doll, just inhale here. And exhale to just let it go. And one more time. And then we're going to make a sideways figure 8 with the hands here. So I've got both hands pointed down towards the ground, and I'm just going to draw a figure 8 in front of my feet, or maybe an infinity sign. And then we're going to keep doing that all the way up, reaching up, figure 8s, moving that energy that never ends and is all around us. Big inhale here, and then exhale, hands to heart. And then just see how you feel for a minute. Just stand here in mountain pose, Tadasana, heart lifted, chin tucked. And just take a couple normal breaths here and see if you feel the energy moving in your body. Maybe your hands are tingling, might feel a little lightheaded. You might notice the connection of your feet to the ground underneath you. And then let's go ahead and come on to our mats. We're gonna sit on the mat. Whoops, I gotta move my other block out of the way there so I can see. We'll sit on the mat. Soles of the feet pressed down to the ground, knees pointed up towards the sky. Kind of centered on your mat. We'll take our blocks and we're going to put the block flat underneath us, sideways. So like if it's sideways and flat. And we're going to put the top edge of the mat right where your belt would be if we're wearing a belt. And hopefully you're not wearing a belt. You should not be wearing a belt doing yoga, let alone in just COVID times. I haven't worn a belt in like literally years. I can't even tell you. So what we're going to do is come down to the back and press into the feet just enough to lift the hips so that you can slide the block right underneath the low back, kind of just underneath the belt line. So it's not on the tailbone, but at the small of the back. And maybe take your feet as wide as the mat and let the knees just kind of fall in towards one another so that they're supporting each other. Maybe they touch, maybe they don't. Your hands can be on your belly, or maybe open up to the sides, palms facing upward. Gently tuck your chin just a little bit to keep your neck nice and long, and maybe snuggle those shoulder blades towards one another right underneath the heart. And just come back to noticing your breath, noticing the energy in your body. Noticing how this belly moves up as you inhale. And how it draws in towards the spine as you exhale. And we're just going to lie here and breathe, or lay here and breathe, I guess sounds better. Just going to lay here and breathe. Maybe begin to deepen the breath a little bit, drawing your inhale all the way down into the belly. Maybe imagining that the low belly is that water balloon. We're just filling up the water balloon from the faucet. And as we exhale, we just let all the water out. It just goes blah. Just let it go. Let's just focus on filling up the low belly like a water balloon. Nice and slow, just like if it was being filled by a water faucet. It doesn't just fill up really fast. It takes a while to fill up. So let it be a nice, slow in-breath. And then just let it go as if you accidentally dropped the water balloon and now all the water just came out. Just let it go. And just continue focusing on that. We'll just do that for 3 or 4 or 5 full breaths here. And maybe as we breathe here together today, you might want to set an intention for yourself. It might be something that you want to create more of in your life, maybe good health, maybe strong body, maybe more compassion for yourself or for other people. Whatever it is, might be something you want to let go of. Maybe resentment. I know I've carried a lot of that. Maybe judgment, maybe guilt. Whatever it is that you want more of or less of in your life, you know what it is, whatever it came to your mind first. Just say that to yourself as if it was already done. So if it's good health you want more of, say, I am healthy and strong. And notice how that feels in your body. If it's something you want to let go of, you could say to yourself, I release all guilt and shame and responsibility for other people. And just as we go throughout our practice today, just revisit that intention as we focus on the breath, focus on the body, focus on the here and now. Nothing that has happened earlier, nothing that's going to happen later, just right here, right now. And now as we breathe, let's focus on the rib cage. So maybe even take your hands just underneath the bra line to the ribs. And as you inhale, focus on the expansion of the ribs from side to side. And as you exhale, just let them hug in towards one another, drawing the belly button close to the spine. Inhale into the side body, expanding the ribs, hands drawing away from one another. And exhale, just to slowly release and let the ribs draw in toward one another again. We'll inhale into the ribs. And exhale to soften and let it go. And you can Remove your hands, take them back to wherever's comfortable for you, but continue breathing into the ribs, just focusing on that movement from side to side. And we'll do that a few more times. And as you do that, you might take a little gentle scan of the body and notice if you're holding any tension anywhere. Maybe the forehead or the jaw, the shoulders, maybe the toes or the fingers, and just see where you can soften and let go and surrender. And now let's focus on breathing up into the heart center. So maybe visualize, instead of a water balloon, that we have a hot air balloon up there. And as we inhale, we're filling up the hot air balloon of the chest cavity. And as we exhale, we're just letting all the air out. Nice and slow. Breathing in and out through the nose, but if it feels good to exhale from the mouth with a sigh, definitely do that. Just focusing on breathing into the heart. Maybe as you focus on your heart center, you might remind yourself of your intention and repeat your affirmation for yourself to yourself, or maybe out loud if that feels good to you. And we'll just breathe into the heart for a few more rounds of breath. Softening where you can. Allowing the body to just be heavy and supported by your mat. And now let's see if we can't put it all together and breathe first into the belly, and then into the ribs, and then into the heart. See if you can let it go from the heart, and then the ribs, and then the belly. Or maybe it feels better just to let it all go at the same time. Inhale, belly, ribs, heart. And exhale in whatever way feels good to you. We'll do that a few times. Noticing the support of the mat underneath you as you breathe. Noticing how important it is to breathe. We can live without food for a month. We can live without water for days. But we can only live without the breath for a few minutes. And it is the one system in our body that is both automatically controlled and we can control it too. It's pretty amazing, actually. And now, maybe let's play with it a little further and breathe into all three spaces at the same time, really expanding. Taking up space, expanding within yourself, and then letting it all go. Filling up the entire body, from the low belly up to the collarbones with that beautiful fresh air. letting it all go at the same time. And if it feels good to you now, just calmly continue to breathe, expanding throughout the whole chest area, the whole torso. And if you'd like to get a little bit deeper into the hips, you can press into the feet and turn the block so that it's on its medium high setting. Getting just a little bit more open in the front of the hip flexors. If you're on a bed or something really soft, that might not necessarily work. So just stay on the low setting. Wherever you are, you could hold on to the block with your fingers and maybe draw one knee and then the other in towards the heart. And actually, I'm going to encourage and personally do it on the low setting so I have a little more stability with the legs up. So we'll just draw the knees up and we'll just kind of rock very slightly from side to side, getting just a little bit of a massage here with the block. And then we'll do waterfall here, which is supported legs up the wall, except we don't have a wall here. We're just going to extend one leg and then the other, keeping the feet soft, maybe rotating the ankles in one direction and then the other, maybe pointing and flexing the feet. Maybe instead of pointing the toes, you might kind of press into the balls of the feet, sort of making those Barbie feet. You know what I'm talking about, those kind of high heel shoes feet. So, because if you point the toes, sometimes that can cause cramping in the calves. So we'll just flex and press into the balls of the feet. And then just let the feet be soft. The legs might be straight here. The knees might be a little bent. Just whatever feels good in your body, let that be. And as we have our legs elevated like this, we're recharging, resetting the lymphatic system. And we're also letting the blood flow back down from our legs, which have been supporting us all day, to our hearts and to our brains. And while we're here with the legs up in the air, just go back to that nice, deep, full torso breath. And then we'll take one foot and then the other back down to the mat. And then while we're still on this lowest setting of the block, just for another moment or two, let's extend one leg and then the other. And then extend both arms up over the head so you're kind of hanging across the block. Just getting a really great opening in the front of the hip flexors, those psoas muscles. If that doesn't feel good to your low back, go ahead and bend the knees and take the feet back to the earth. And just stretch out nice and long. Maybe stretch out long through the right side body. Maybe stretch out long through the left side body. And then we'll bring both feet back to the earth. Press down with the earth, with the feet as you lift the hips up to the sky and remove the block and just set it aside for now. And then we'll just take the feet as wide as the mat and take the arms out to a T, and we'll just windshield wiper the knees from one side to the other. Inhaling as you draw the knees up towards the sky. Exhaling as the knees go to one side. Inhaling back up to the sky and exhaling to the opposite side. Maybe you can get a little movement in the neck here too. taking your gaze over to the right as your knees go left, and taking your gaze to the left as the knees go right. And the knees might come just a little bit down towards the earth, maybe almost all the way. It just depends on your body today. Maybe it's really rainy with you where you are and your windshield wipers are moving super fast. Maybe it's just a gentle pitter patter of rain and they're just on the slowest setting. And then let's go ahead and draw one knee and then the other in towards the chest, and maybe draw the nose to the knees so you're in a little tiny ball, realigning the spine and the hips and the neck, and then bring those shoulders and the back of the skull back down to the earth. And cup your knees in your palms. And as you inhale, straighten out the arms a little bit so that the knees are as far away from your heart as they can get while you still have your hands cupped around them. And as you exhale, draw the knees in towards the collarbones, getting a nice little massage along the small of the back, getting a little bit of movement there where we just open things up. And then maybe make little circles with the knees, sending them out to one direction and away from the body, and then up through the other side and up close to the heart. Again, it doesn't matter what direction you go, because after you go that way a few times, we'll just reverse the circles. We'll go ahead and do that when you're ready. And these circles can be very small and subtle, or they can be as big as you can reach. Just whatever feels good in your body. And then let's go ahead and hug the right knee into the chest and bring the sole of the left foot down to the earth, bending the left knee so that it's pointing up towards the sky. And let's rotate that right ankle in one direction and then the other. And then let's send that left leg out long. And we'll hold on to the right knee with the left hand and send the right arm out perpendicular with the body. So out to the right side, palm facing up. Inhale here, and as you exhale, draw the right knee over to the left side, getting a nice twist. And you might use your block here underneath the knee if it doesn't reach all the way down to the floor, so that you have a little bit of support here. You can maybe take your gaze out over your right palm as you twist the right knee over to the left, and maybe the right knee is up towards your heart, or maybe it's down away, kind of low away from you, getting more length in that right side body. And if it feels good here, you can take the left hand and maybe massage in between the ribs, massaging those intercostals, that connective tissue in between the ribs. Or maybe it might feel good to take the fingertips and massage that right hip. Or maybe the outside of the right thigh. Noticing if there are any tender spots, and not shying away from them, but just being curious about them and giving them a little tenderness, a little love, a little healing touch. And when you're ready to come out of that, we'll take a big inhale. Exhale to really draw that belly button in towards the spine. So the next time you inhale, you can draw that knee back up into the chest along with the left. Hugging the knees into the chest, drawing the nose to the knees, making your little ball and realigning the spine and the neck and the hips. And then hold on to that left knee, hugging it in towards the chest as you let the right foot come back down to the mat. And we'll rotate the left ankle in one direction and then the other. And then we'll send that right leg out long. And then holding on to that left knee with the right hand, we'll send the left arm out long. And then as you exhale, we'll draw that left knee over to the right side, getting your big twist here. Again, using that block on any setting for support here underneath the knee. And just playing around a little bit with how close to the heart the left knee is. It might be really held in closely towards the belly, or maybe send away out long. And just notice what feels best in your body and find that position and just stay there and breathe those full, big belly breaths, filling up that whole torso. Letting it go, noticing where you can soften, noticing where you might be holding any tension. Maybe if you have any places that feel a little stuck or tight, you could imagine that you have a balloon there. And as you inhale, you're filling up the balloon. And as you exhale, you're softening, relaxing, letting go. Breathing here. Using that right hand to massage wherever feels good to you. I really like tracing in between the ribs here. The ribs get a lot of movement and motion throughout the day, and those intercostals can get a little sore. Maybe massaging the hip or the thigh. Not being afraid of the tender places, but just meeting them with love. And then when you're ready to come out, we'll do a big inhale, exhale to draw the belly in towards the spine so that you can use the core to draw the left knee and then the right back in towards the heart. Bring the nose to the knees, realign everything. And then we'll stretch everything out long in this big good morning stretch. And then we'll take the left hand over to the top left corner of the mat, and then the left foot to the bottom left corner of the mat. So you're kind of making a little shallow C shape here with the left side of the body. And then we'll bring the right hand over to meet the left hand and the right foot over to meet the left foot. So now you're kind of a shape of a banana laying on its side. And we like to call this in yogi circles, banana asana, which I love. If you want to get a little deeper into that right hip, you can cross the right ankle over the left. You can clasp your hands, interlacing the fingers, and maybe make a little pointer with the index fingers. Looking out over the left bicep here. Breathing that full torso breath, but into the right side body, really focusing on the right lung. Maybe picturing with your mind's eye those two lungs that you have there in the body. And as you inhale, filling up the low part of the left lung, and then the ribs, and then the heart space, or all on the right side. Filling up that right lung as you stretch long through the right side body. Softening between the ribs. Getting a big stretch all the way from the fingertips to the ankles. And then we'll inhale everything back to center. And then as you exhale, take the right hand to the top right corner and the right foot to the bottom right corner. And then follow them with the left hand and foot. Getting that same banana asana, this time on the left side. Maybe crossing the right ankle with the left to deepen that if it feels good. If it doesn't, don't do it. And we'll focus on breathing into the left lung now. Really expanding through the ribs and the hip. Getting a nice stretch here. Couple more breaths here. And then the next time you inhale, go ahead and send everything out long, coming back to center. And then we'll bring one foot and then the other back to the mat. And then we'll just roll to whatever side serves you best and come to the belly. And we'll come into a nice, soft, gentle Sphinx pose here. So we're on the forearms with the elbows right underneath the shoulders, palms pressing down gently on the mat. Drawing those shoulder blades down the back body towards the back pockets. Tucking the chin, letting the heart shine forward. Tops of the feet are on the mat. You can either have them close together or as wide as the mat, whatever feels best in the low back here. And as you exhale the next time, go ahead and bring the chin down to the chest. And then we'll inhale, rolling that right ear gently towards the right shoulder. And then exhale, chin to chest. And then we'll inhale and roll the left ear towards the left shoulder. And exhale, chin to chest. And then yogi's choice here, just roll the neck very gently from side to side. Maybe pausing wherever it feels good. If you have any tight areas in the neck or the upper shoulder, you might stop there and imagine there's a balloon there that you can inhale with the breath, sending the breath there. And exhaling just to soften and let it go. And then the next time you inhale, we'll lift the chin from the heart, bringing it back to the top of the spine. And then we're gonna come down to the belly. And we're gonna send the left arm out perpendicular to the body. So we've got kind of a right angle here between the left side of the body and the left arm. I'll show you on the right side. This is how I have my left arm over here, just so you can see. And we'll press into the earth with the right hand and kind of roll up onto the left side, stacking the hips, stacking the knees, stacking the feet, using the right hand as a kickstand. And if it's a little pinchy on your shoulder, you can take the left arm down a little lower so that the hand is closer to a 45-degree angle than a 90-degree angle, so it's down closer to the waist. And just notice what you feel here in that right hip. Breathing throughout the whole entire torso. And if it feels good, you can bend that right knee and draw it up towards the sky and bring the sole of the right foot back behind the left knee. Kind of like a fallen tree here. If you want to go a little deeper and get more opening in the front side of the body, you can bring that right hand back to the right ankle or foot and hug that right knee in, really getting a stretch in the front of the right thigh, the front of the right shoulder, the front of the body. Ooh. Getting a big stretch here. And just, not pushing into this. If this doesn't feel good to you, come back to a previous position. And we'll just stay here for a breath or two. And then we'll roll back to the belly. Palms right next to the upper ribs, just below the shoulders. Thumbs kind of in line with the nipples. Press the tops of the feet to the earth. Draw the shoulder blades down the back. Draw the elbows into one another. And just lift the head, lift the shoulders, keeping the chin tucked. A really low baby cobra pose here. Bhujangasana in Sanskrit, which is a fun word. And then exhale to release the forehead to the mat. And then we'll send the right arm out long and use the left hand to push up onto the right side, stacking the hips, stacking the knees, stacking the feet. Noticing what you feel in that left hip. Using the left hand for a kickstand. And stay here for a breath or two before you try to go any deeper so that the body can acclimate to the changes. Just like everything in our lives, it's important to take things slow and gradual and let ourselves get used to change. Maybe now we're gonna bend that left knee and bring the sole of the left foot to the earth behind the right knee. Coming into our fallen tree pose. Maybe you want that arm down a little lower on the right side. Maybe you want to reach back for that left ankle. And if you do, draw that left knee in towards the right, hugging the knees in towards one another and really pressing that left hand into the left foot and the left foot into the left hand. Opening up through the left side body. Staying here or whichever part of this pose, whichever step along the way speaks to you today. And then gently release and roll back to the belly. Bring those hands back alongside the ribs and press up into your low cobra, getting a little stretch in that upper spine. And then we'll push into hands, push in the knees, and we'll send the hips all the way back to the feet, coming into child's pose. And we're gonna paint the hands alongside the mat here so that we can flip the hands up and they're right next to the feet. And we're making a little snail pose here. You can bring the forehead to a block or to the mat if that's comfortable. We're just going to let the back body kind of drape over the legs. Just making space between the shoulder blades. Maybe nodding your head a little, yes. Shaking your head a little from side to side or making little circles on the mat with your forehead in one direction and then the other, stimulating the third eye where you can help tap into your intuition.
Or if that doesn't speak to you, maybe just rubbing out a little tension headache. Just inhaling into the back body, just like we did into the front body. Inhaling into the low back, into the ribs, into the back of the heart, and letting it go. Maybe inhaling into everything all at once, really expanding through the back body. And letting it go just to release. And then we're going to go ahead and use our fingertips to press ourselves up into hero's pose, just kneeling on the heels here for a moment. Hero, maybe heroine pose. We'll bring the hands to the tops of the thighs and let the shoulders come down, tuck the chin, lift the heart. Inhale that full, deep, rich breath. And then we will bring the fingertips to the earth and either swing the legs out from one side to the other or cross the ankles behind you and roll the sit bones behind the feet. Coming back to our sit bones with our feet on the mat and the knees pointed up to the sky. Bring the hands to the backs of the thighs. Inhale here to lift the heart and draw the shoulder blades down the back. And then as we exhale, let's just lower one vertebrae at a time down to the earth, drawing that belly button into the spine as slowly, slowly, slowly as possible. And when we reach the bottom, let's bring one knee and then the other back towards the chest. And then let's reach for the calves or the ankles or the edges of the feet, coming into happy baby. Maybe rocking a little bit from side to side. Maybe inhaling to send one leg out long. And then exhale to come back to center and inhale to send the other leg out long. And then we'll bring the soles of the feet together and down to the earth, coming into a reclined butterfly pose here. Kind of reclined cobbler's pose. If that doesn't feel good to you, you can send the legs out long. And we'll bring the right hand to the belly and the left hand to the heart. Or as near to the heart as you can get while still resting the back of your left arm on the mat. I have kind of short arms, so I'm just sort of over here on the left side of the heart center. And maybe the heels are drawn up very close to you, so you're getting more of a stretch on the inner thigh, or maybe you might send them away a little bit to give you a little bit more space here. And like I said, if this doesn't feel good to you, we'll come into traditional Shavasana with the legs out long and the arms open wide to the sky. And we'll just come back to that beautiful, rich belly breath, that full torso breath, inhaling deep into the water balloon of the belly, and then into the ribs, and then into the heart. And exhaling to let it go. And then inhaling everything all together. And exhaling to let it go. And then just letting go of all control of the breath, letting the body take back over for now. Knowing that you're in good hands, your body will still keep on breathing for you. And maybe come back to that intention that you set today at the beginning of the practice.
And repeat your affirmation to you, whatever it is. Noticing how that feels in your body. Knowing and trusting that it is already done. Might take a little time to finish, but as far as the universe goes, it is done. And we'll just stay here for another moment, letting all of the movement and the energy that we just experienced together on the mat settle into your body. And then when you're ready, just let your fingers wiggle a little, let the toes wiggle a little. Maybe take another long, good morning stretch. And then roll to whatever side serves you best. Coming into this nice little fetal position, resting your head on your bottom arm and wrapping your top arm around the thighs. And just give yourself a little hug. Going from the end of the practice to the beginning of the rest of your day. And keeping your eyes closed, if that feels good to you, go ahead and press yourself up to a nice tall seat. Coming into Sukhasana with the legs crossed, or maybe back to hero's pose if that feels good to you, or maybe Siddhasana, which is the easiest for my hips anyway, where I draw one knee in towards the center and then kind of stack the other one in front. And you might even find that sitting on a block here is even better, letting the hips be lifted and the knees come down towards the earth. And we'll just let our hands rest on knees or thighs. And we'll draw that chin gently towards the heart and let the shoulder blades come back down the body. The next time we inhale, let's open the arms out wide and bring them up alongside the ears, looking up and holding on to all that positive energy we just created and bringing the palms together and drawing it into your heart. And this is where we tilt the chin gently, recognizing the light and the love within you that is the same as the light and the love that is within me. And acknowledging all the energy around us and in us and through us that never leaves us. Namaste.